Hi guys, welcome back for some math. Today we're going to be talking about lesson 8 and we're going to be talking about fractions. And I noticed yesterday in your lesson some of us were having difficulty with identifying equal shapes. And the thing that I want to tell you that is so important when we're working with fractions is, I'm going to write it up here, parts. Equal parts means the same size, the same size parts. And that's really important. And I always like to think that, so many of you have brothers and sisters and we don't always like to share. And when you do share, you want to make sure things are very even. So to start this today, talking about equal parts, I'm just going to review very quickly. We have some equal parts here. I'm going to draw a square and I'm going to draw it into equal parts. I want you to stop and I want you to think, how many equal parts are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts here. Okay, 4 equal parts. Now, if I were to take the same shape and I were to do this and this, are all 4 of those parts equal? No, these are not equal parts, but these are. And I could do the same thing here. To show equal parts, I could do this, and this would be 4 equal parts, yes. The thing for you to remember is that each one of these sections is a part. And if I have 4 sections, that means each one of these equals 1/4 of the section or the whole. There are 4/4 equal 1 whole shape here. And so that's what we mean we're talking about equal shapes. Equal means the same size, and that's really important as we're moving ahead with fractions. And I noticed some of you had some difficulty with that. So we're going to do some practicing of that today. So I'm going to switch out my paper here. Thank you for being patient. And we're going to get started. So if I have here, if I have this shape and I want to cover it to see how many equal parts we can have with triangles, I'm going to set my triangles down on it because they fit pretty nicely. And if you notice, how many triangles does it take to cover? 3. So there are 3 equal parts here. Each one of these sections equals 1/3 of the whole. So if I put this back, there's the whole shape. If I take one piece out, it's 1/3 of the shape. If I were to take 2 pieces out, that would be 2/3 of the shape. And when I put them all back together again, that is 1 whole. Okay? So each one of these are the same size and shape. So now, if I go ahead and I'm going to turn this like this for now. If I'm going to take this rhombus and I cover it with 1 piece, how much of that rhombus is covered up right now? Do you say 1/2? Because if I put I can cover another one right up here. That would be 2 pieces. So if I take 1 off, that means 1/2 of the shape is left. Are you understanding that? So to cover it, okay, but if I take 1 off, that means 1/2 can still cover it. And that is something that we need to talk about. So if I take my hexagon and I cover it, how much of it is covered? We would say 1/2 is covered. And if I put another one on top, then it would be 1/2. But if I take one off, I have 1/2. Okay, so now watch this. And I'm gonna turn this around here like this. I think I'm gonna get a new clean sheet of paper. Okay, so I have this right here. And what did we make? We made a hexagon, didn't we? So if I take my hexagon and I cover it with rhombuses, that's 1/3, 2/3, 3/3, or 1/2. If I take one piece out, 1/3 is missing. If I take two pieces out, 2/3 are missing. And when I'm dealing with fractions, boys and girls, I always count how many pieces total. There's 1, 2, 3 pieces here that equal this whole shape. There are 3 that equal this whole shape right here. So if I take one of these, that means it's 1/3 of the whole shape. Okay? Same thing if I were to do the hexagon and if I wanted to cover it up with triangles and see how many triangles would fix my hexagon, I see 2, I see 3. Well, 3 of them seems to be about 1/2 of the shape. So if 3 is 1/2 of the shape, I want to see how many 4, 5, and lucky me makes 6. Oh, these are so little. These aren't as big as our ones at school. Okay, so I put 6 triangles on top of that hexagon. If I take off one piece, it's 1/6 because I used 6 of them to cover the whole shape. This is one piece and it's an equal share because it matches all of the shapes right there. Okay, now I want you to think very carefully and I want you to make sure that you're doing your problem set well. It's hard. I know it's hard. Once we get to this last week, things get tricky and we're kind of, oh, Mom, I don't want to do it anymore. But hang in there. We've got a few more to go, and this is a good lesson. So I want you to show me your best work today. I want you to make sure you're doing that application problem and doing it completely. I want you to make sure you're doing this problem set and doing it completely as well. Okay, go ahead and do your work, and I will meet up with you again tomorrow. I hope you have a fabulous day. I miss you, and I love you bunches. Work hard.